do it by yourself, that's what it is. You're by yourself.
You're working very hard.
And, you can't lift that boulder typically by yourself. But if you get that lever underneath it, that boulder comes up rather easily. You might...
Well, hi, Steve.
Hey, how are you doing, Steve?
Doing great.
It's another beautiful day in the neighborhood, and we are going to do, what's this show called?
This is the Steve and Steve Show.
There you go. Welcome to the Steve and Steve Show, folks. I'm Steve Wastenberg, and this is Steve Walsh, and we're excited that you guys are all here. We hope that you will share this and subscribe and tell everybody else about it, right?
That's right.
What do we got going? You got anything else you want to say before we jump in?
Well, we have drinks.
Oh, we do have drinks. This is a beer. No, it's not beer.
It's it's supposed to be bubbly.
It's a nice fall drink. It's an apple cider for the fall.
Apple cider. So cheers on that.
Cheers.
Guess it is kind of bubbly.
Oh, that is mighty refreshing. Sparkling.
Apple cider.
Just sparkling.
All right, Steve. I got a topic for you.
All right, let's knock it out here.
Leverage.
Leverage. So, I assume you mean when we go out and get a lever and we're going to lift up a car.
Like a crowbar.
Crowbar.
Right.
And a lever into a house, break into a house?
So what's the crowbar used for?
It's for...
to get leverage, right?
Yes, it is.
So if you had a crowbar and you were pushing down on something really heavy, you have leverage to lift that item up.
Yep, right? And there are bigger bars that are leverage bars that you can even lift larger things, right?
So that's the concept.
Okay.
Right? So when we talk about, when we go to like the financial scene, and we talk about leverage, and specifically in real estate, we use a lot of leverage in real estate. And when we use leverage, what we're doing is using maybe like a mortgage as leverage, right?
Okay, so explain that a little bit more.
So if you put 10% down,
yep,
90% is the mortgage, right? So I can use 10% to gain
gotcha
the return of the 100%.
Got it. So to put that onto actually numbers, you have a $200,000 house, and you put $20,000 down, or 10%.
Right.
90% of it you put into that mortgage,
right,
which is leverage because you probably don't have $200,000 cash.
Right.
And so you're able to leverage it.
Right.
With the
so
mortgage.
when the $200,000 home increases by 5%, it goes up by 10,000.
Right.
Right.
How does that work, people?
So, and I only had 20,000 there, and now
of your money exposed.
Of my money because of the equity that I put the down payment. But now it goes up by the value of 5%, so which increases 10%. So it turned my 20,000 into 30 of what's available there.
Yeah, so we're going to go through those numbers again as well, right? So you've got a $200,000 house, and that house goes up because the houses around are nice, and it goes up by 5%. So now that house is worth $210,000. So the fact that the house went up $10,000 and you put in $20,000 as a deposit,
right, you
just got $10,000 on that $20,000. That is leverage.
Right. So that's the concept of
and I think this is a good thing to stop for and really look at it. If you had put the $200,000 in,
yep,
you now have exposed your $200,000, and you're going to still get that same $10,000 gain. Is it the same leverage? No, it's not. No, it's only $10,000 compared to $200,000.
Well, it's so if you look at the 20,000 and you increased it by 10, right? So that's a 50% increase,
leverage,
right?
absolutely.
Where if you look at the total picture, it's a 5%. So if I put the total picture in there, I'm only gaining by 5%. But because I am using leverage, the mortgage, to allow me to attain that asset for that larger amount, I'm using the mortgage to leverage that full amount so that I can increase my actual interest in that property.
Now, I don't want to put us down a rabbit hole, but I think you're going to be okay with me bringing this up because I think it's another really great example of leverage, albeit usually not our leverage being buyer homeowners. But where do we put our money? Where do we get that money for the mortgage? Who gives those? It's the
Well, it's the
banks.
It's the banks, right?
And do banks use leverage?
They do.
What's their leverage like?
So they have some really good leverage.
Yeah, do they? But explain it. I don't know that a lot of people even realize.
Yeah, that's probably
the
a
kind
whole other show.
It is. It might be something, but I think it's at least worth introducing here.
Yeah. So when you put money into a bank,
Your
as
money.
a savings account, right, or a checking account, some sort of account, the bank's going to take that money and use it. So they're leveraging your money
And loaning it
loaning it out to somebody else,
to your neighbor.
right? Or it could be a
Yeah, it could
business,
be
it could be
anybody.
anybody. They're going to
Right.
loan it out, and they're going to gain interest off that loan, but it's your money that you deposit. Now, it might not be specifically your money, but it's going to be a
Conglomeration
yeah, it's
of
gonna be
everybody's money.
the bank, all the depositors of that bank, right?
So,
now,
so do they only get to
well, that gets into the other topic, right?
But it's
So-
important, I think, for people to realize.
So we are
this.
in the United States, and I imagine that this is in all central banks because this is how they make their money. But we're in a fractional system, and what a fractional system is that when you deposit
Listen up to
100,
this, people.
when you, and I'll keep it simple. When you deposit, let's say you deposit $1, then the banks can loan out that $1 10 times on the same time.
So we
it's
need to say
$10.
that again. You deposit. Let's put it $100. You put $100 in your.
That's why I only picked one, because 1 versus 10 versus
Well,
100 and 1,000.
Well, we could probably do it. You put $100 in your savings account, and now the bank can loan $1,000 to other people. You only put 100. The bank loans 1,000.
Yep. So they're
How does
they're-
that work?
Well, it's what the banks are allowed to do, because if you did that,
It'd be
I would have
a
to go-
Ponzi freaking scheme.
you would be wearing orange.
Yes, I would be in jail. I would be in jail. But this is something, folks, that we talk
But
about
it's
financial IQ and
it's what's the banks. We're in a fractional system. It's the banks are allowed to do it. If you do it as a private individual, it's illegal. But the banks have they have regulations that they have to follow. They have specific things that they do follow, as far as reserves and stuff like that, to allows them to do this. And they're regulated.
yeah, they are regulated. And if they overextend, well, then they get bailed out. And who bails them out? Okay,
Well,
maybe this is
so
a
it's
different
definitely
topic.
getting down to different topics. But the key to this show
Is leverage.
is leverage, and leverage is everywhere. It's not only in the financial systems, but it's also as people, right? So if you work for somebody, then you are being leveraged by your employer
Absolutely.
to do the work. They're
Right.
not going to do a work of 100 men. They're going to do the work to manage the 100 men, and the 100 men are actually going to go do that work.
And
they're
women.
leveraging. Yeah, men in a generic sense. So that's kind of the leverage is being able to use a tool to gain a bigger return
Right.
of what you may have. And I think that our first example with the real estate is something that I think people can understand. A lot of people have mortgages. They know they didn't buy their house with that entire. I mean, there's people that pay cash for houses, but most of us
Get a
put a
mortgage.
little bit down, 3%, 5%, 10% down, and then we get
Yeah.
a big mortgage. And over time, the value of those assets gain, and you're leveraging the mortgage to increase your financial picture. And now, so imagine not just doing that in the house that you live in, but taking that and building a portfolio of rental homes, and how much you can actually build up wealth, leveraging multiple mortgages on
Right.
multiple houses.
Right. I want to go back real quick here for leveraging people, because we've talked about masterminds before. We've talked about groups that get together, and we do it with a big group consistently, and that's part of our coaching. And you see 10 people in a room that are talking with each other about certain ideas, and it might be something along the lines of an investing kind of mastermind. we end up leveraging each other's expertises. So there are certain people that may have a little more knowledge on some of the investing, but somebody else comes up with a fresh kind of perspective, which then levers the whole group up into
right.
a bigger.
That's a good way of putting that too. So there's two pieces of leverage that we talked about. The first one is other people's money, right? The bank and the bank using other people's money, so we're leveraging money there, and then other people's time or other people, right? So you're leveraging the use of other minds or their use of other labor and stuff like that. So that's the leverage part of that.
Yeah, because I mean, if you do it by yourself, that's what it is. You're by yourself.
You're working very hard.
And, you know, you can't lift that boulder typically by yourself. But if you get that lever underneath it, that boulder comes up rather easily. You might not be able to figure out a great investing solution by yourself, but if you get more people involved, all of a sudden that rises up into a brand new opportunity in there. So,
all right, Steve, let's give them a homework assignment.
Yeah. What could you go out and do right now, or contemplate, or imagine that you could utilize leverage to really make that work?
Yeah. Let's see what kind of examples you can provide by throwing those in the comments.
Yeah,
let's see how many different examples we can do.
Right.
And if you've never commented on our video, this is the perfect time to try that out.
Is.
It's pretty easy.
So what would you leverage right now if you could? What would you do?
I certainly would leverage other people's money if I could. And
there you
I would
go.
be in the real estate.
And that's not, you know, when you say leverage other people's money, that's not using other people.
No.
That's actually other people have a lot of money that they may have in some sort of an investment that's just not, might be returning 2 or 3%. And they're more than happy or welcome if they know you. It's not like they're just going to come out of nowhere. But if they know you, to maybe say, well, what if you found some kind of a deal that they could finance? They get 10% out of their money.
So if they're getting, if they've got money in a savings account and barely earning 1%, or if they've got it in a money market and barely earning 2%, I could use that money in a real estate deal and probably get them 6, 8, maybe even 10% on their money.
Right.
So when I go in real estate deals, I look for a win-win and win situation.
That's exactly it, and that's a lever on both sides.
That's right. So, one real quick note, and then we should wrap it up.
Yeah, because
you know what
we're losing the sun. Look at that beautiful sunset.
One of my favorite movies.
Happy Gilmore. I don't know.
That is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, all right.
But that wasn't the one I was thinking
blue.
about. I was thinking Danny DeVito's Other People's Money.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's right.
A fantastic.
Mine's Casablanca.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
That's
leverage.
That's a lot of people's favorite, I think. So, all right, Steve, this was a great one.
This was.
Thank you for watching. Please
Get out
subscribe, share. Don't forget to do the homework and hit the comment section. Let us know what kind of ideas you have around leverage.
Friends and family, tell them all about it. Cheers, Steve. Thank you.